Hey everybody, JJ here. It is Christmas time. It's December 2023. We're wrapping up the year and you know, just a beautiful time to be alive, be thankful for what we have, friends in our family and the opportunity to participate in real estate and surround ourselves with unbelievable people. Our guest speaker today is a young man I had the pleasure to have met in person, was introduced to him probably over a year ago and is an unbelievable success story. He is a role model. He is just a shining light in our community. Um, couldn't be more proud of him as a friend and admire, respect him as a fellow investor and even as a mentor. I mean, the guy's probably half my age, but he just sets an example of what we all aspire to become, and that's a successful investor of integrity and good character. My good friend, Mr. Jason Malabute. Jason, how are you?
I am splendid. Thank you, JJ, for having me on your platform again.
My pleasure, my friend. It's I talk about it all the time. The real golden value that we get from what we do are the people that we meet, and more importantly, the relationships that we make, create, and take away from those that we happen to cross paths with. And it's been a pleasure to meet you, know you, and I'm looking forward to next Dodger season. We can go to the baseball game together. Hey, and I kind of gave away the answer to my question, but next question. But for those that don't know you, where in the country are you located?
I am in Los Angeles, California.
Awesome, my friend. Awesome. Um, I wanted to chat a little bit. Yeah, I know we talked last time you were on, we talked kind of about the topic and we jumped right into the topic, but wanted to talk a little bit more about you. We all get a different start in real estate. We start at a different time, different place. Some of us start younger in life, some of us, like myself, we start later in life. Um, when you were, you know, as we all transition from our youth into adulthood, we're, you know, have the opportunity sometimes to drive a vehicle at a certain age, 16, ideally, people get their first ID. They're voting at 18. At 21, they're able to order an alcoholic beverage. And, now we're an adult, we can vote, we can drink, these are the growing years of going from our youth into adulthood. For yourself, was real estate something that was on the landscape for you? Was it something your family was involved? Were you aware of it? Or did it happen for you later? And if it did happen for you later, what were you doing through your teens into your 20s?
So, so that's a great question. I was actually just writing an article recently about how I got to where I am now, and to address the elephant in the room. I grew up with cerebral palsy,
Mm,
and cerebral palsy definitely robbed me of a lot of experiences that most people take for granted growing up. For example, I never got to experience prom. I never got to experience, going going to the mall with my friends as a teenager. I never got to experience asking out that girl that you like in your third period class to the movies. However, um, cerebral palsy blessed me as well because it put in me a certain determination that is unmatched by
mhm.
anybody in the room. And when I was a kid, um, my dad always noticed that I like the finer things in life, like as you can see me right now, like I like I like to have on jewelry. I like to go traveling. I like to go eat out at restaurants. So my dad always pushed me towards entrepreneurship because he said, son, reality is when you grow up, you are going to have a harder time finding a high paying job compared to your peers. So, so, when I got to college, my mom pushed me to become an accountant because she said, you need to understand money so that people will not take advantage of you once you become a businessman. So that I find, I have no better idea, so why not be an accountant? So I graduated accountancy. I got my CPA, and then I started to work for a local accounting firm here in Los Angeles.
Now, let me ask you, let me jump in for a second. Where did you go to get your accounting degree?
I went to Woodbury right here in Burbank.
Yeah, I know them. They're over on Glen Oaks.
Yes, yes, that's school. And yeah, so one day I was doing one of my clients' tax returns, and then I noticed that he was making a lot of passive income, not doing anything. So, just because he had a rental property. So that's how I got exposed to real estate. From there, started studying real estate, started buying single family homes, and then transitioned out of that. And then I was looking for a multi-family deal for about 3 years without any luck. And then just this year, I closed on two deals that totals 342 units.
Wow, 342 units. Now let me ask you, you're the multifamily guy right now. I remember when we first met, you said, I'm going to stop doing the single family thing. I'm going to go into multifamily. And here you are, you got a 300 plus unit building, and you said you were going to do it and you did it. Um, was when you learned about passive income, were you even aware of multifamily, or was it only single family that was first aware that came to your knowledge?
First time that I heard about apartments, because a lot of my family grew up in apartments here in here in Los Angeles, Glendale area. But I never paid attention to it. However, one memory that I did have is I remember one time, um, I was in Las Vegas with my parents. I must have been like 13 or 14 years old. And then, I remember seeing a very attractive woman with a man that was like in his 60s or 70s. And then I remember my parents making a joke saying that he must own apartment buildings. So like for some reason that particular memory sticks into my head. So like I remember when I got into real estate, I said that I want to eventually get into
Yeah.
multi-family. But I didn't see myself doing it until like 10 years after I started real estate. I would never guess that I would have started doing it, like 3 years after I got into real estate investing.
Yeah, 3 years is a pretty quick turnaround. to be in this for three. I mean, I've been in this for a little longer than 3 years, and I've not made the jump to multifamily. So I think like anything else I talk about, chase the relationship. I'd really love to continue our dialogue, and as we're doing today, learn a little bit more about not only your multifamily journey, but some of the things that have helped you be successful. Um, so in multifamily, as you're moved in, is this recent acquisition, is it in the California state in which you live, or is it in another state?
So this is in Atlanta, Georgia, which is a more landlord-friendly state compared to California.
Yeah, very much so. We live in California. It's not a landlord-friendly state, which is one thing I don't like about living here. But as we know, the weather's hard to beat. How challenging was it to find this property in another state? And that gets into acquisitions. How did you go about finding it? How did you go about acquiring? I'm kind of curious on that aspect.
Yeah, yeah. So, so, so it's very challenging, right? Because I, s- so I said that I wanted to get out of single family back in 2020, and I didn't find my first deal until 2023. So it took me 3 years to find my first multi-family deal. So there's a lot of ups and downs, JJ. In fact, Christmas is 2 days away, and this Christmas it's very special to me because I remember for the last three Christmas. I would go to my family's, Christmas parties, and they would ask me, how is the business going? Have you found any deals yet? And then year after year, I would tell them, no, I'm still looking, nothing yet. And for a man, that's very it's very that destroys your whole ego
Mhm. Mhm.
when you come empty-handed. So like I'm very thankful that this year I can finally say that I accomplished something this year.
Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, you've done nothing but work very, very hard from the beginning. I know how diligent you are. I know how hard it is, and obviously, as you reference the elephant in the room, doesn't make it any easier that you've got an additional, challenge to deal with amongst everything else. So, Jason, I want to entertain some questions from the group. I'm trying to think what question I might have overall. Uh, you know, I know from myself, I get asked all the time, I'm sure all of us do, how's business going? How's business going? Did you find anything? And that is tough. No, I'm still working at it. I remember my first education group had instilled upon us to say, well, are you working on anything? And say, well, I'm working on my first deal. Oh, what are you doing? Well, whatever we're doing, we're working towards that first one, whether it's a single family or a multifamily. So just the fact that you've knocked a huge multifamily out, that's phenomenal. Hey, we got a couple of questions here. I'm going to start pulling some people in. Justin Kremer, you are on with Jason Malabute. What is your question, my friend?
Hey
Hey,
Jason, what's up, buddy?
Justin.
How are you, man?
Hey, man, long time no see.
I know, man. So Jason and I, just to preface this, Jason and I met at JJ's networking in Glendale at Griffith Park when we held that a little while back. Which, if any of you guys next time JJ has one of those, show up because it's amazing. So yeah, I remember having a conversation with you, Jason, and I remember the whole time I was thinking, I'm like, this guy's way out of my league. Like he's talking about he's getting into multifamily and doing this huge deal, and I'm like, I'm not at that point yet, right? But the more I think about it, it's just it's so inspiring, man. It's you know, your situation is it's difficult, but you've turned it around and you've let it empower you instead of bring you down. And that's one of the most like all of us, like you said, we take for granted a lot of things. Um, and just watching what you're able to do, it's inspiring to me. I know it is for most of the people here, if not everybody here. But my question to you is, when you're doing that, so when you're working on finding these deals, is it literally just you doing it, or do you have like a team behind you that's helping you with this?
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest mistake that I made when I first started. Is I thought that I could do everything myself, and the real estate, especially when you get to the bigger deals, this is a team sport
Yeah,
because. You might have strengths that's my weaknesses, and I might have strengths that's your weaknesses. So if we work together, then we can complement each
yeah,
other's weaknesses, and that we can do bigger things together than what we could do by ourselves.
yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. And I'm guilty of that too. I'm guilty of that too, especially in the very early beginning of getting into this business. But and so do you have people working on acquisitions for you? Do you have people doing that sort of like on a daily basis for you, finding deals for you, or is that something you kind of outsource?
So, so, we have people, in our teams, who focus on a particular market. Like, for
Right.
example, I focus in Indianapolis, Kansas City, and then starting next week, we're going to start looking here in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
actually. So, it's all about a team sport. Um, because full transparency, if I was a investor with a lot of money and you tell me that you're doing this all by yourself and that you are a one-stop shop, you're only the only team member in the whole team, I would not feel comfortable investing with you because I'll ask you, what's gonna happen to my money
Yeah.
if you die
Right.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
So that's why it's important for you to have a team.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was actually you already answered my second question, which was going to be, are you looking for deals in Los Angeles? Now I know you went out of state for a while, but it sounds like you guys are back looking in Los Angeles. Is there a particular area in Los Angeles that you're looking at?
We're still trying to determine that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have conversations out with brokers starting next week.
That's great, man. I love it. Listen, and well, you and I can have a conversation outside of this, but for anyone here who's looking and finding multifamily deals, how do we bring those deals to you?
yeah, so to the account, I would say that you can always reach out to me. You guys have my social media. You guys have my phone number, and I'm very accessible. You guys can contact me anytime.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jason. This is like,
Or,
again, man, you're super inspiring. So thank you for what you're doing.
Justin, thank you so much for joining us, my friend.
Oh, always.
Trevor Finn, you are on with Mr. Jason Malabute. What's your question?
Thanks, JJ. Hey, Jason, how you doing?
Hey, Trevor.
Good, good. My question is, how did you find or raise the capital to purchase your very first multifamily?
So great question. Everything is sales, right? A little bit background on me. I am Filipino. So I grew up in a very conservative Asian type of household. We were taught not to be too pushy. So when I got into entrepreneurship, my biggest weaknesses were sales. So I had to really learn sales to be able to raise money from investors. When I first got started, I really didn't know what I was doing. And then I probably pushed some people too hard because I didn't know how to present the product to them. Full transparency, one of those people was actually um JJ. I pushed him too hard. Which JJ, I told you, apologize for that. So 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 now I'm always refining my sales skills so that I can figure out a is this the right product for this person? And then, once I find out if this is the right product for this potential investor, um, then I know when to be more persistent. If you are looking to raise money for your own deals, my advice to you is to work on your sales skills. Um, because what I've noticed for most people is that most people are the complete opposite of me. They will give up too soon on a prospect, not knowing that most sales transactions, it doesn't matter if you're selling somebody a $3 product, a $100 product, or a $100,000 product. Normally happens between the fifth and 12th follow up. So that's why it's important for you to be persistent, but at the same time, you have to be creative because you cannot call JJ, let's say 12 times in a row and ask him are you ready to invest now? Are you ready to invest now? Are you ready to invest now? Because because that's how you will get blocked. So you have to be more creative. Maybe one time you might go see JJ at the baseball game. Maybe you might you might have him for lunch, maybe you might come on his podcast, it's all about being creative in your follow-ups. And then eventually, you guys will do business one day once the time is right.
Thank you. Thank you. Last question.
What?
What did you do with your single family portfolio? Did you leverage that to get into multifamily, or do you still have your single family properties?
So I'm the type of person that uh, when I am focused on something, I put 100% of my focus in that one thing. So so once I decided that I want to get into multifamily, um, I sold all my single family homes so that I could put 100% of my focus in my multifamily acquisitions.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you.
Of course, thank you.
Jason makes a good point. The thing I always talk about, and it's follow up. You got to continue to follow up. And, I'm not an easy sell, but what Jason found out, what works better with me, and that's what I talk about all the time, is chase the relationship, not the deal. And you know, I'm glad to have maintained my relationship with Jason because, where he had a great deal, I just wasn't ready to participate. And but that didn't diminish my understanding his value as someone I wanted to continue to network with. And one of the things he talked about was, I go to sporting events with people, or if I want to build relationships with successful investors, I bring them on my podcast and profile them, such as with Jason today. But take people out to lunch. I mean, there's such a great value in that. And I was looking for the book on my book list about the particular book about, how to take people out to lunch. Never eat alone and make time to sit down with people so you can get to know them better because that's going to be the crux of the development of building rapport. So that's just a great point. And again, Jason, I'm so proud of you, what you've accomplished. I'm so proud of who you are. And I've been to your events, I've been to your mixtures for your group, and I think that's fantastic. We got a couple more questions. We're going to bring on a young man here. Mr. Michael Hamilton, you are on with Jason Malabute. What's your question?
Hey, Jason, it's Mike from St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Um,
I was just in Kansas City, so a little bit south of you, I believe, right?
right. Yes, yes, I commend you for your dedication and success. I really do. We need more people like you, but truthfully, world would probably be a better place. But anyway, my question is this. I got a few friends that are in the multifamily space, but they're shying away from the multifamily space. And by you being a CPA, you might be able to answer this question. They shine away due to some new tax code of some kind, and they're concerned about that. Now they want to stick on the note side of it because I have multifamilies come across my desk from time to time, but I'm not in that space. So some of those just get brushed aside because I really don't know if there's if the value is it a deal or not a deal. So I concern myself mostly with multifamily. But my main question is taxes.
First thing is, I'm not too familiar about that new tax code that you are referring to. However, regardless though, what I could tell you is multi-family is an amazing way for you to reduce your taxes because, for example, the current tax code only allows you to offset your passive income with your passive losses, meaning if you're making let's say 100,000 from your W-2 job, and then let's say you're making 30,000 from your passive income job, and let's say that you have a $50,000 loss. Well, you can only apply that 30 of the $50,000 loss to offset your passive income of $30,000. You cannot use that to offset your active income. So why is multifamily such a great um tax advantage? Is because something called cost segregation. We actually did this for one of our properties because normally how real estate works is you're only allowed to claim a straight line depreciation of the property between 27 and a half to 39 years. But with the cost segregation, we're able to accelerate um the depreciation of the let's say the windows, the flooring, the roofs on the property, and we were actually able to harvest uh, an additional $2 million in a tax benefit for people who invested in our opportunity. So that's why multifamily is an amazing tax benefit because can you imagine if you were making, let's say, 50, 100,000, 200,000 of your passive income, and then you had enough passive losses to actually offset that. So basically, you're getting untaxed on your passive income. That's an amazing tax strategy.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. I'm just relaying that message that I've heard, in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I wasn't sure about what they exactly were talking about, but they were just they were just saying they was just sticking with notes on this at this time. But you explained it. It's still a tax advantage to it.
Oh yeah,
Thank you, Jason.
of course.
Michael, thank you so much for your question and good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you, JJ, my friend.
Cynthia Ware. Now, she's been with the group for a while. Very, very dear friend of our community here. Cynthia, you're on with Jason Malabute. What's your question?
Thank you, JJ, for being here. You've been persistent and consistent for us to be able to come together every Saturday, pretty much. I've talked to Jason before. I met him before. We did a phone call before. He probably doesn't remember me. Probably about 2 years ago. Um, and at the time, he was looking in South Carolina, I believe. He was looking at property in South Carolina. And he was pretty determined. I think at the time he was discussing or his conversation with me, he was looking at multifamily, and his number was like blowing my mind. How over 100 property units, and I was like, wow. And so at the time when we had our conversation, he did tell me he had a mentor. But what I didn't ask him is how did he find his mentor? Because the mentor helps us, to me, a good mentor helps us with our goals. And if they've been doing this long enough, it helps us understand the benefit of a team. They may not lift us up like a team, but they can discuss the benefit of a team. So I did not ask him at that time, how did he find his mentor? Because he had a mentor. He told me he did.
Yeah, so actually, having a mentor is one of the biggest success hacks that I use to be able to have 342 units. Because because like that correct mentor can not only cut your learning curve, but also they can connect you with people who are
Okay.
in the industry that would normally take you years for you to meet. However, the biggest mistake that people make is that they hire a mentor who has not done a deal since 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, and 12. So, that is a mistake because the only techniques or strategies that they could teach you are strategies that they were using back in 2012. And and uh and those strategies, even though they are conservative, you will not win a deal using those kinds of strategies in today's market. So that's why it's important for you to have a mentor who's doing deals in today's market, who's buying properties and selling properties in today's market so that he or she can teach you strategies that they are doing today. And that's actually why we rolled out our own mentorship program, is because we noticed that people need more transparency in a multi-family space. So that's why our mentorship program will give you an exact blueprint that if you follow the blueprint, you will be successful. We give you step by step about how to do what I did, and and you can complete it within 12 months. But we'll let we'll let you come out to our properties and see a real life due diligence of a multi-family property so that you know what to look for in inspections and due diligence. Plus, we'll let you sit in on asset management calls to see how we communicate with our property manager on a weekly basis, and what what KPIs we track, what stats do we follow to make sure that the property is performing as planned. And then lastly, a lot of people have trouble finding sponsors uh, um, who will actually sign off on the loan once they find a deal. So that's why with our mentorship program, once you have finished our certification program, you will be qualified to actually be a general partner on our next deal.
Okay, so you're part, you sound like you are intrinsically part of a mentorship. But
Yeah,
I was asking 2 years ago, how did you find your mentor? How did you, was it recommended to you from somewhere else? Was it a platform you was
I
on?
was I was just like meeting I was meeting a bunch of people I was hopping on Zoom calls like this. I was talking to everybody, and it's like some people who were mentors I did not deal with. Some people who were mentors I I dealt with so I naturally gravitated toward people who have the similar values and also people who are doing what I want to do and most importantly who are actually doing deals in today's market.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Jim or Shal, you are on with Jason Malabute. What is your question?
I just wanted to thank you both for spending time on your weekend to help all of us improve our real estate investment game. My question is, when you dispositioned all of your single families, did you do 1031 exchanges into the multifamily or did you just sell them outright?
I just sold them outright. And to be honest with you, since it took me 3 years to actually find my first deal, I'm pretty sure that the 1031 window would have expired by then.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Well, Jason, brother, man, you brought some great value with your answers. I had a couple questions for you, and you may have touched on some of these things a little bit. If somebody wants to get started in multifamily, let's say we've got some people on the call now, but say people are watching this on YouTube a week now, months now, 6 months down the line. And of course, the economy is going to change a little bit and things shift a little bit. But what's the best way for people to get, going in multifamily?
Um, First step is just like what Cynthia said, which is that you have to find yourself a mentor because it took me 3 years to do this, and if I found the right mentor when I first started real estate, instead of me trying to do everything by myself, I would have probably been where I am now much sooner. And number two is when I first started, I made a lot of mistakes because I was trying to do everything by myself.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. That kind of leads into one of my last two questions. But my first question is going to be, if people want to get in touch with you, not just those on the call right now, but down the line, what's the best way to reach you? Would it be your MySpace page, your TikTok? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can send me a DM on all my social media, or you can send me an email at Jason, JASON, at cashflowchamps.com.
My last question to you, Jason, is I've got a networking group. I'm always talking about the importance of networking and how that impacts one's business. But from your standpoint, as a successful real estate investor who has worked twice as hard as everybody else and you know, shown and proven that. I mean, obviously you've had to take on additional challenges that most people don't have to take on. And you've not only become successful, but you continue to become even more successful. From your position as a successful real estate investor, we see dozens, if not hundreds of people coming into the real estate education platform of social media every single day. They're joining one of 30 to 50 to over 100 different real estate education platforms. Would be Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Seb2, Clever Investor, Astro Flipping. There's hundreds of them. Numbers of them are even, people are coming in that are brand new investors that don't really know a lot, or very successful investors are coming to the social media platform of real estate education. As these investors, inexperienced and experienced, are coming to social media to now learn about investment education, what is the importance of networking to the success of their business? With your experience, what's the importance of networking? And in addition, what's the importance of joining a group like mine to the success of somebody's business?
because because I would say that most people, when they first try to get into real estate, they make the mistake, including myself when I first started. People focus on the what and the how instead of focusing on the who. Uh, Because if you focus on the who, you can get to where you want to be at much faster. If you try to figure out the what and the how, because if you figure out the who and then you build rapport with the who, um, then the who can actually take you under the wing and then get to where you want to be much faster. That's exactly the strategy that I did for me to become a general partner on the 342 units because instead of me trying to do everything by myself, I I joined my mentor's mentorship program. From there, I got to learn. I got to learn more about his business. I got to learn, like what is his weaknesses. And then once I did learn that, I learned how can I add value to his business with with my accounting and CPA background. And by me leveraging that, that's how I got the opportunities to become a general partner on 342 units.
Very cool. Yeah, no, thank you so much. That makes so much sense. Is
No.
who, not how and what are important, but who, who's going to help us because we can't do this by ourselves.
Yeah.
So, I thank you so much. If you guys are watching on YouTube right now, please like Jason's video. Please put in the comments what your takeaways were, what you found valuable, maybe how we can improve if you have comments or, positive critique for us on how we can provide better value to you. We do here on YouTube. Again, if you want to connect with Jason, it's going to be through his Facebook, his Instagram, LinkedIn, his YouTube. He's got all the social media platforms. If you want to connect with me, go to my website, jjazizian.com, and click the pulsating register now button, register for my group. Look for more guest speakers coming up. We've got one more great speaker coming up through the end of this year, and then 2024, we're loaded with rock stars, starting out with Seb Chu's Kevin Cho at the beginning of the year. But please look for more great value coming up with Flip Side Up with JJ. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, join my group, and come back and look for Jason and myself on social media. We're going to be out there. Please connect with us, connect with me, and let me help you build your brand, build your network, and build your business. Thanks a lot, everybody. Don't go away. If you're on the call right now, stick around. I'm going to go to breakout rooms. Jason, we'll see them everywhere else later, right? Thanks for joining us, guys. See you soon.
See you guys.